and welcome back to my channel. So if you have been watching my vlogs, thank you so much for watching them. I've got a little bit of views on all of these videos of our cruise in Europe and everything, but number one, thank you for watching, and number two, I'm so sorry it's taken so long for me to get the rest of these vlogs out. I am going to be trying to get these out over the next few weeks. You can expect about maybe 2 to 3, possibly 4 more videos on Europe, and then we've got another set of vlogs coming in. So first off, we're just going to jump right in. This was to get into Vatican City. So since this is technically a new country, you do have to go through airport style screenings, and I think in some areas you do have to have a passport. So we actually did not have to have our passport, but I think some people do. I think it was just our tour guide that kind of helped us not have it, but we did have it on hand if we needed it. It's the only picture I'll get. And so we actually ended up not even needing our passports. Our tour guide just told us to have it just in case we did need it. So we did not get a stamp. I think there is possibly one place that you could go to get a stamp on your passport, but we did not do that. And those stairs, beautiful spiral stairs. I wish so badly we could have stayed a little bit longer and taken some more pictures and videos. I did think that we were coming back, but we actually went out a separate way, so was not unable to see that. But then we started walking out to this courtyard area, and it just shows like the whole Vatican area. And so that area that I'm pointing to is actually under a big plastic tarp that actually has a picture printed onto the tarp with what is under it. And so we actually unfortunately saw a lot of areas like that, but it was under a restoration for the following year, which was 2025, which was the year of Jubilee. And so starting on Christmas Eve of this year, current year that we're filming is 2024. On Christmas Eve, Pope Francis would declare that the year of Jubilee, and so this door, and you'll see it later in the vlog, would be open and Rome would be welcoming more guests. And so they just wanted to make sure that everything was in tip-top shape for all of that. So you will see, unfortunately, a lot of things under tarps just in preparation for the year of Jubilee. And there is also a restaurant in the middle of Vatican, so you gotta get some more money somehow and food and stuff. We obviously did not stop, but this was very pretty in this area.
Called the Last Judgment, as you see written there. The Last Judgment depicts the end of times. What is done is done. If you've done good, you rise up to heaven. If you've done bad, you fall down to hell. And this is determined by Jesus. Jesus rising up his arm and condemning the bad ones, falling down to hell, the good one rising. So it's like a vortex, and when you will be stopping right in front of.
And so this next statue that you will see was so pretty. I love that it was spinning. She did give us a little bit of information, which you're about to hear about that, but it just looked really cool, made out of bronze and everything. And it was also really good to get some information about the Last Judgment before we saw it, and a big picture of it, because the area where we go to see that was very quiet, and you'll hear in the video that I got in there, no talking. Definitely. It's very quiet and peaceful.
This is a very brand new work. Instead of pine, can you see there? That is 100 years old.
Wow.
First century BC. It's one of the few pieces in bronze that survived. Because you remember this morning I told you that all the bronze from the past was actually melted. See, yeah, in front of the United Nations in New York, there's another one.
So in the next few clips, you're going to see a lot of different artwork and statues. There's no way I could tell you anything about every single piece, but I will leave the areas that she talks in.
This morning we saw the face of Constantine. This is the face of Agatha.
And it was almost overwhelming to see all of this artwork and see things that were thousands of years old, but so cool at the same time to see all of it.
Nephew, yeah. Nephew. The Agatha. That are naked, they all look similar, kind of fake face. It is so accurate. Which statue describes a god and which one describes a real person?
And they all now have the sequence.
After the paintings, then Michelangelo got forward. So the figures were out.
So I know I'm moving extremely fast in these videos, but there was so much artwork to see, so many sculptures, so many details that you could look into, all of them. And it was just amazing to see all of this and just think back thousands of years ago when they didn't even have electricity and they were doing things like this, which was so amazing. And it just kept getting better and better. We started in the statue room. We went into more artwork and everything, and it was just truly amazing is about all I can think about saying. And to see the artwork on all of the walls, on the ceilings, the amount of detail that went into all of it was just, I know, amazing. But still, it's almost like I blocked all of these memories out because I truly don't remember seeing this. But it's still so cool to think back and think that we were once there. Not that I remember it very well, but we were there at one time. And I do wish we would have had some more time in the Vatican because it was just so much to take in.
Nice, isn't it?
Yes.
With her son Eros or Cupid.
And also at the time I'm recording this and editing these videos, it was 2 years to the day. So this is June 12th and we went to the Vatican on June 11th. So it's really cool to think back how time changes and everything that's happened since then. But to see all these statues, even the bathtubs were immaculate. And the plant lover in me definitely loved this.
You can tell by the crowd going that direction. Over there's the most famous statue. We try to get here. That is the statue. That probably belonged to Emperor Nero. It is told that Nero had the statue in his huge palace, made on a special machinery that made it turning. Special machinery was nothing but a part of the floor that was made turning by slaves down below, moving pulleys. This is describing the oracle of the epic poem of Troy. The oracle that predicted the time.
Finding the crowds was so worth it to see this, but can you believe that this is the only standalone picture video that I got? Crazy, right?
This is what we have nicknamed the marbles. There are statues of animals.
Looking back on this now, I do wish that we would have went into the animal room, but there was no way we would have had time for this and everything else we had to do. So if I ever get to go back to Rome, which I really have got all of my fingers crossed that I do get to go back to Rome, I will definitely be going into that animal room because I do love animals, and seeing sculptures and the detail of it would be amazing. But I do see why we were so pressed for time, and you can also see how we were all pressed together up against everyone else in this area and how crazy busy it was. So obviously middle June, you're gonna have a lot of tourists and stuff, but I think it just got worse from there, honestly. But yes, the crowds and stuff were manageable, and you'll see that there are some spots where you can feel like you're breathing.
Okay. Around we have statues depicting the muses. Muses were those divinities that protected art and through their magic powers inspired art to artists. Sometimes you have the expression, this work was made in Greece. We know because
So this is just my educated guess that the reason we knew that statue was made in Greece was either the marble it was made, how it was made, or that all the pins and things that kept the arms and the rest of the body made into it had been stolen, and that's the only guess I can have. But then when you turn around, look at the ceiling and how beautiful this ceiling and painting was.
these paintings are considered a nice decoration, not even art. No.
If that was considered just a nice decoration, that is crazy to me. And think about the amount of artwork back in this time period that would have been considered lesser than. If I would be able to paint that, I could be very popular artist right now probably. But she's about to give us a lot of details in this room right here.
This mosaic is made of million little tiles. Each tile comes from a different marble. So the color is not painted on, it's in the south of Egypt. So it was quarried really far away from Rome. It was the most prestigious and expensive marble the Romans ever used. It's quarried in Egypt, and this was Nero's backside. That's what I thought you said.
So I think I stopped to take a picture, so I don't really know where that was discovered next to. But let me tell you, on my next trip to Europe, I've got it handled because I've got a camera that records, and so I can video with both hands, take pictures, and do whatever I need to do. So we are covered on the next trip, and you'll hopefully be able to see some of that on my upcoming vlogs. But this was just so cool. Like, I'm looking back on it and honestly don't remember it.
Precious red marble that comes from the south of Egypt, and these are the coffins to bury the mother and then the daughter of the Emperor Constantine.
And the fact that the mosaic floors were made out of individualized pieces of incredibly small mosaic pieces is crazy. Look at this, and how much time it would have taken to do this is so cool.
Christian symbology of angels making wine, the sacrificial lamb, the eternal tree of life. So you really see the transition from the paganism to Christianity. There's no space to scratch. Really, I am I shouldn't do it, but I want you to see.
Wow. Is it on a turntable?
There's an iron.
So they didn't have a servant under there turning that one.
Exactly. Yeah. Remember this floor very well, the more you can, because tomorrow we will see lots of brick walls and I will tell you repeating. Once we were beautiful
Oh, okay.
So we walked.
This
This is the dome.
Oh,
so
okay.
this is the reorientation. This is the way we're walking. We will enter first number 2, that is Sistine Chapel, and then number 1. Yeah, that
It's just side by side. It looked like just a sea of people.
really,
Very.
Yeah.
Oh.
remembering the capital when we died. Birds in the fields, because the doves, the birds are symbol of the soul flying away. Thank you.
I was trying to be like a statue.
It looks like a monster, isn't it? Instead,
Yeah.
this is an actor. This was the ancient microphone amplifier.
Lobster and Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yes. Take a picture right now.
It's like,
No, no.
like anybody else goes somewhere else
He
today.
just told me that I had it all that way. So it's like you have to go walking this fast. Because if you go this faster, then
Crowd.
Now these are tapestries. The tapestries you see on the left side were all made in Northern Europe. And this is all you cannot touch them, but you can get very close, much closer to this, and you can. It was a study symbol because the body was able to make them here. Until when the Pope Urban Barbellini, the one with the statue in the Capitoline Museum, was manufactured from Northern France here. And these are the very first Roman tapestries. These are
I know, I don't like that.
yeah.
I stood and took a picture of that.
And here we have the biggest tapestry, and there is a phenomenal optical illusion. If you keep walking, looking in the eyes of Jesus, you will notice the eyes of Jesus always look in yours. And in the meantime, you walk ahead, you see the body of Jesus rotating. So it starts this way, and it comes back this way. The same effect it's with the table. If now you focus on the table, you have the impression the table is that way, correct? You walk and the table changes direction.
Wow.
You see from here, both the Jesus and the table are the direction.
Yes, that is.
Wow.
Wait a minute.
So we really could not have timed this better with walking, because you can see in a minute that we're going to catch up with all the people walking, but there were several times where it was just kind of us alone standing, so we really timed it really good. And I'm sure you've seen some of the videos in this next part, the map room, where it's just a sea of people shoulder to shoulder, and we did experience that, but not as bad.
Maps are painted on the sidewalls in fresco technique. Everything you see around you. So there were approximately 100 people working together, coordinated by a scientist, a cartographer. That is the one that made those maps perfect. Because those maps were made 500 years ago and they are 90% accurate. Without computer, without satellite, they were able to calculate.
So I've always wondered how maps were a thing, like before satellite, like she said. How in the world did they do that? That is so crazy to me, how they could get an accurate map where they were. Like, I understand standing on top of a mountain, but that is so crazy to me to even think about. So I loved seeing this map. It was so detailed. Again, a lot of people, but it was really not that bad. But just the amount of detail was amazing.
Territories look upside down. You see that one? This is the south of Italy, and Sicily seems to be at the north. Instead, is the point of view from. So it's just the orientation that is different. Then, instead, the geometrical scale is different in every map because it is related to the grid of conflict existing in between Rome and that territory. So we figured this could be. How Rome looked like in the 15th.
So after going through the map room, she did give us two options. We could either go to where we went to, or we could go to the other part. So we did choose the first, and I'm so glad we did, because getting to see some of the artwork that we saw was pictures and things that I had seen even in art class before, and so getting to remember that from art class, just looking at a picture on a test, to getting to see the real thing was amazing, and I'm so glad that we did go with the choice that we went through. It just means that we'll have to go back to see what the other choice was and go through that second place the next time.
Very important from religious point of view, because it is celebrating the dogma of Immaculate Conception. But from an artistic point of view, this is not really considered great art. So the Lady Benange, the most famous painters, were working in Paris, and they were making another revolution, the Impressionists.
So here we are actually walking outside through this little side entrance thing. I don't really know, but we're actually going into this area, and she does tell us the story, but it is so loud in the background that you can't hear anything that she's saying really. So I apologize for not having that story of this, but it is very detailed, and I kind of remember the story, but not well enough that I want to retell it. But this was an older area, and they were doing it under restoration for the Jubilee for the upcoming year. So as you can see, it was pretty packed in there, and why it was so loud, and why I did not get the full story of what she was saying. So we did miss that on this video, but it was really interesting information, I'm sure.
This is the moment in which Constantine saw the cross that came in a dream to him. He decided for this reason to put the sign of the cross on the shields of the soldiers. And this is how he could win and defeat the enemies. So this is how Constantine became emperor, thanks to the cross, thanks to the sign.
I like the Polish king, where they just have to go like,
And this is depicting the moment in which Constantine received baptism, and the Pope of the time is the one celebrating baptism. With the protection that God always offers to the Pope. So in case you come and rob his money, the moment in which an angel comes to set St. Peter free from the jail. But what
Better than what? This is that painting.
I'm sure you've seen studying, praying. So he asked Raffaello to paint about the three ideals. The ideals he wanted to have represented in his Prayer Studio work. The idea of beauty. All the triumphant church with the most important saints, and the militant church, the one that were making this church real. Okay? This is the third room. In here, Raffaello painted just that wall, not the other ones, and you can tell that he was strongly inspired by Michelangelo. After he saw Michelangelo's style, he kind of imitated, the mascos, the nudity. This is how usually the saints look.
maybe we're
We are in a bubble. Because the subjects there were pretty bizarre. And so now the Pope's Court Department houses the contemporary art collection. But I'm sorry for that ugly chair. That building you see in front, that is the Sistine Chapel.
Okay.
So where you see written Julius, Pope Julius II.
Okay.
The Sistine Chapel is just there. That inspired the portrait of this saint is just the same girl, the daughter of the Pope. Or probably it is the horse stable. When this was the Pope's palace. And then we'll walk in a section that was where the servants had their activity.
So in this next clip, you are going to get to see the Creation of Adam painting by Michelangelo, where God and Adam's finger are almost touching, not quite touching, but almost. And what I really think about watching back on this is in Spaceship Earth in Epcot, in the ride in the big ball, is when Michelangelo is laying on his back on all these rafters and stuff, and he's painting on his back, and that's really what I think about rewatching this. Adam and Yes, I know I was not supposed to record by that ominous voice saying silence, no photos, no videos, but how could you not record? Now, I did not take my phone up and just point it up to the thing. That's why you can see my arm. And I would not have done this had it not been for a tour guide who said that she did not say not to record. She just said in so many words that it's mainly because of copyright. She did not say it was because of preservation of the artwork itself, but it was mainly just regarding the copyright. So once she told me that, I was like, okay, we're gonna figure this out, and this is how I done it. So I used my Lululemon bag, or whatever bag, I think it was the Lululemon bag, put my phone on top of it and just hit record, and done it, and that's how I got it. And just getting to see the fingers almost touching. She did tell us they did not touch, because the Pope or whoever commissioned them to do this said that that would give too much power, I believe, it would have put too much power on Adam or something along those lines, and that's why the fingers could not touch. So they're just barely, like, close enough to touch, but not actually touching. And just to see all the stories of the Bible, you see Adam and Eve, you see just different stories depicted. I can't see in this exact moment right here some of the stories, but yeah, and you can look up pictures because there's several online, but just to see all of this videos, or see all of these pictures and things that were painted thousands of years before, is just amazing. It truly was amazing to look at and see. The one scene that I was most excited for was the fingers almost touching with Adam and God. So I'm so glad I got to see this, and this is in the Sistine Chapel. I think I may have seen or said the St. Peter's Basilica, but this is Sistine Chapel. St. Peter's Basilica is where we're going to next. But one last peek around and we're gone.
That part is consecrated to work exactly like the interior of the church, but outside there could be many people.
Yeah.
The patience, very important festivity. That door you see there is the holy door. It opens every 25 years in occasion of the Now you see there's a person walking.
Yes.
Okay. If you see him, you can compare him to the letters down below, and you can tell the letters are 9 feet tall.
Wow.
So that is to offer you a measure, a character. Can you see him? He's walking without Bible pictures. Everybody see it? Yeah, exactly, the guardian. That is where the Pieta is. Now it's under restoration.
Yeah.
And this is Mother Mary.
She was telling us here that she probably was not going to renew her tour guide pass for the 2025 year at the Vatican due to the Jubilee and how crazy it would be.
But I am serious. There is no painting here. Whatever you may think is made as a painting is not. It's made in mosaics.
Oh, wow.
And you see these are all tiles.
Mm-hmm.
So that up there is not
In the central part of the church, there are those statues that are the portraits of the founders of the religious orders. So, in French, that is our population. And inside, you can see that there are statues of the popes. Some of them look like funerary monuments. You see, that looks like a coffin, but it's just a monument. The popes are buried down in the crypt. Below this.
Saint Vincent Divas.
Michelangelo. So after he finished painting the ceiling, no, sorry, the Last Judgment in the Sistine Chapel, at the age of 71, he became the architect that completed the construction of St. Peter's Basilica in making the dome. So he made all the scaffolding, all of the cranes to lift all the materials there.
And so this area that we're looking at right now is actually supposedly where Peter was crucified, and they have got that. That's why it's called St. Peter's Basilica. But all of this that's under all the tents and stuff is, of course, all the stuff that they're working on for the following year for the Jubilee. So I will insert a picture of what that looks like under there. But she did say that you could go down in there, and I think it also goes into the tombs of the past popes and everything. But that is supposedly where Peter is buried. And here she was actually telling us that all of the gold that was in here was actually taken from the New World mission. So it was actually the Aztec treasures and the Mayan gold. So all of this is from there.
Pope Alexander that is praying, you see, he's on knees, he's praying. There are 4 female figures. Those are the values the Pope had. So charity, hope, justice, and the truth. The truth is the one that is playing on England, that was outside of the truth because they just separated with the Anglican Church. So again, you see how symbology is speaking. And then, did you see there's a skeleton? There's a skeleton made of bronze holding a time glass. That is not to be scary or a creepy symbol. It's just to indicate the time of this life is finished. So this is. And his body is inside that bronze cover. So the ring is actually the funerary mass. Chapel. People can get married here. Yes, absolutely. The two conditions for marrying here is that you are Catholic, and it's great because you cannot indicate a date.
Going to the Vatican truly was one of the things I was most excited for, and I don't think I even showed us getting the holy water out of there. Since COVID, they did have to alter it a little bit, but I still was able to get a little bit of holy water on my hands. Now I know for me personally, I don't feel like that was anything special. I know a lot of people do, and I won't get into religion during this video, but just being here at the Vatican, seeing St. Peter's Basilica, the Sistine Chapel, where Michelangelo painted all of that, and just seeing how all of the artwork and the amazing artists that went into this, and it truly was amazing to come here, and I was so excited for this day. And so one thing real quick, these are actually Swiss guards. So this was a tradition that went back centuries before, where the Swiss guard was actually protecting the Vatican back then, and now I think it's just more of a symbolic thing than anything. But all of these chairs out here were set up for the papal audience, I believe is what it was called. So that was going to be the following day. And you can see the large TV screens. People could come in and get seats and sit and stand and just get to see the Pope for a few minutes or however long. But we're actually leaving to go to the next area, but this is going to be the end of the video for today. So sorry that this was such a delay from the last video, but I'm hoping to kind of get back on track and get editing and doing all the things. So if you're enjoying this vlog series, like and follow for more, and subscribe to me and follow my TikTok too, because I've got a lot of stuff over there. But thank you again for watching, and I will see you next week.